So let's go ahead and begin. How did you get started as a wrestler?
I got started in wrestling purely by accident, actually. I started watching back in 2011, which isn't that long compared to how long everyone else has been watching. But I was watching something on the USA Network, and Monday Night Raw was on next, and my sister and I were like, let's see what this wrestling thing is, and next thing you know, I'm watching it all the time.
So who was the ones on TV that stood out to you, that inspired you, that made you say, you know what, I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna be a wrestler. Who stood out to you when you was watching?
Um, the two wrestlers that I watched the most would have been CM Punk and AJ Lee, because they both seemed a little different than what I had been expecting wrestlers to be.
Oh yeah, CM Punk, best in the world. Yeah, that was definitely those days. And AJ Lee, her when her character was developing, she got more confident as time progressed. You know, she did not hold back what she feel about the her female colleagues, if you will. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but you know, wrestling back then, loudmouth, over the top, dramatic. Nowadays, it's like you still can be loudmouth, but people don't yell so much like they used to. Um, but you know, wrestling has come so far away, come a long way, you know, since the old school days. And you know, I like Punk, and I like the development of AJ. She was cool to watch, and
Mm-hmm.
and only she can do the whole skipping to the way to the ring. I don't think anyone
Yep.
else. I don't think anyone else can do that and not fall. I mean, like how she managed to do all the skipping part. I don't and not fall not once time. Like I don't know. She was very intriguing to me. I will say that. Um.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as you know, being a wrestler, what was the whole training experience like? What was the training and learning move for move and working with people, and what was that like?
Training is very interesting. It's one of the most difficult things I've ever done. I trained at the Academy School of Professional Wrestling up in Minneapolis, Minnesota. With back then the coaches were Ken Anderson, the Davari brothers, Eric Cannon, and Molly Holly. There was a wide variety of styles and techniques and different like ages of wrestling.
So
The training, like I said, was one of the most difficult things I've ever done. I've never been that physically active in my life before, and nothing in life will prepare you for wrestling.
I've talked to a lot of female wrestlers, and for what most of them have told me, that they are usually either the only female or one of the few that train with mostly guys. Um, did you went through that experience when you was training, being like the only female or one of two women that train with mostly guys?
Yes, in my class, I was the only female who was training. With the academy, there's one to two, maybe three girls in every class. But I think it's just because wrestling still as a guy sport. A lot of females are probably a little too intimidated. But that being said, the academy's been super welcoming to everybody, no matter your sexuality, your gender. Everyone's welcome at the academy as long as you're a decent person.
That's very true. You know, I feel like wrestling more than ever has been a little bit more opening to people. As long as you have the heart, the drive, and the passion, and being willing to listen, then you know you're gonna go places. Um, you can do anything you set your mind to, and I keep hearing trainers with this whole shut up and listen thing, and it just continues to stay firm to what's out there in the wrestling world today. It takes time. It takes practice. It takes you're gonna have your share of bumps and bruises, but if you want to go for it, you gotta put the work in because fans are gonna watch, and fans are going to, they're gonna throw a curveball at you, and you gotta be ready for that. Uh, but I love wrestling. I love what the characters. I love the storyline. I like storytelling. It's just so compelling to me. And for you as a wrestler, what is your favorite part being a wrestler? Is it the storytelling? Is it the moves? Is it the character development? Like, what do you like the most being a wrestler?
My absolute favorite thing is telling a story that the crowd can really latch on to and get them to support me or whoever I'm wrestling. I really want to draw them in and make them just forget about their life outside of that venue for the night.
That is absolutely true. Because, there's too much going on in this world. Things can get very stressful at times. And I feel like entertainment, wrestling in particular, can be a great escape. And, it gets your mind off of what's going on. And, fans are going to cheer. Fans are going to boo. Like, once they, being so emotionally invested into your character, whether they like you or hate you, you on to something, and I'll have my favorites and those that I dislike. It's just the character, not the human being, the character. Um, and I guess sometimes people get those two confused between the character and the human being that plays the character. Um, what do you consider the one thing that drives you nuts as a wrestler? Is it the fans and their reactions? Is it the politics that goes into wrestling? Like, what drives you nuts the most about being a wrestler?
The thing that drives me the most crazy about female wrestling is fans expecting that they can get something out of you just because you're, say, the only female on the show, and they expect that you'll let them treat you however they want just because you're a female and they don't think you'll fight back. I've had instances where I've had to get physical with fans to keep their hands off of me.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate. It's like fans, just because they buy their tickets, they think they can just do what they want or say what you want. But that and I feel like that's the one thing that drives me nuts as a wrestling fan too. Like, I'll be going to shows and enjoying myself, and it's one thing to boo or say you suck or whatever, but people go take it a step further with some of the language or whatever. I don't know. It's people will say some slurs or whatever, especially towards a female or whatever, and it's like, man, you just ruin this for everybody. Like, we just try to enjoy the show. Like, you can cheer, whatever, but people need to pump the brakes. You know, these are humans after all behind these characters. Like, and I've seen some wrestlers that's really gonna, that have to keep their composure. They don't want, strike blows and stuff like that. So, fans can be out of control, and I don't know. It's just fans they just I don't know. They think they're entitled to whatever, but that's just me. Um, so for you, Kara, what do you have in store for 2019? Or better yet, what are some like upcoming shows, upcoming matches that people need to keep an eye on?
I've got a couple of upcoming matches that I'm excited about. January 20th, I'll be going back down to Berwyn, Illinois, where I'll get to wrestle Shotzi Blackheart at Kaiju Attack Wrestling. February 17th, I'm really looking forward to probably the biggest match of my career so far. I'll get to wrestle the NWA Women's Champion Jazz in Duluth, Minnesota. She's also the champion of that company called Heavy on Wrestling, so I'm going to be going after her Heavy on Wrestling championship. And then I've got a couple shows that I can't talk about yet, but I'm going to be debuting in a new state, a new promotion. I'm really excited about that one too. Otherwise, you can find me all around Minnesota working with companies like Minnesota Independent Wrestling and Showtime Championship Wrestling, Midwest All-Star Wrestling. So around Minnesota, I'll be popping down to Chicago a couple times, and then a couple new things that I can't talk about just yet.
That's cool. That's cool. That's very awesome. You get a chance to go up against Shotzi, who's making headlines recently, winning a championship, and
Yeah.
you get to go up against Jazz.
Yep,
Wow.
the Jazz.
I love me some Jazz. I ain't gonna lie. ECW original, former WWE Women's Champion, and like you said, current NWA Women's Champion, and for sure, I think she'll be the female representative for WWE Hall of Fame. Um, put that woman in there. She's put in the work, and I like to see her be that female representative. So we'll see. So you're going up against Shotzi, you're going up against Jazz. Now, who are some other women out there that you haven't had a chance to go up against, but would like to one day?
One that I've been hoping to get, I've always wanted to wrestle Rachel Ellering. She's a Minnesotan, so it'd be nice to have like a quality Minnesota match. Tessa Blanchard would be a great one to wrestle. Jordan Grace. Anybody from the Mae Young Classic.
Okay, I like the Rachel Ellering choice. I like that one. You know, she's impressive. I like what I see from her. Tessa Blanchard, the match she had with Kari Sane a couple years ago, that was epic. She's making strides for Impact Wrestling already. Jordan Grace is making strides herself. You know,
That Kylie Ray. I love Kylie Ray, and I'd love to get a chance to work with her too.
oh, that's the one that has the Pokemon attire. Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about. She's talented as well. I think she should be strongly considered for this year's Mae Young Classic if they're all going to do one for a third straight year. She's talented as well. Um, what would your advice be to anyone out there that wants to become a wrestler? That wants to at least get started per se. What would your advice be?
My big advice would be to find a good, reputable school, because not only are you going to have a good trainer there, it's going to give you openings to bigger things in the future. Like, I trained with Ken Anderson, who's worked in the WWE, and then this November, I was able to use him on like my WWE resume, and I was able to, this past November, I was backstage at Monday Night Raw and Tuesday Night SmackDown, and I got the chance to interact with superstars, and I wrestled a match in front of some of the higher ups. Just another way to get your foot in the door. So it helped to have a reputable trainer.
That is absolutely true. More than ever before, you know, the training school and trainers, you know, definitely it feels like people just settle for whatever when the internet's there for a reason to look around and ask around, see who's gonna put you in a position that you want to be. So training school, trainers, very very crucial. So that those are some good options, and absolutely so. There's a lot of people out there that can lead the way, and there's people that can lead you the wrong way. So, like, you know, it's very very crucial getting that the right trainer and the right training school. Before I let you go, what are your social media feeds? Where can people go to keep in track of what you have coming up in the future?
I have I've got a Facebook page just entitled Kara Noia. It's spelled like paranoia, but with a K and a space between the Kara and the Noia. Twitter is at Kara_Noia, and Instagram is the same, at Kara_Noia.
Okay, I'll definitely will check that out for sure. So let me ask you this: with that you just said, has the ring announcer accidentally call you paranoid at times, or do they get it right the first time, as in killing Karanor?
They usually get it right the first time because the show and stuff like, how do you pronounce it? I'm like, oh, it's Paranoia, like paranoia, but it's me.
Okay, that's good to know, because some announcers will get it and some don't. Um, and the announcer part, that's very key part to getting the people hyped for the match. So it's definitely get the names for important. And Kara, it was great chatting with you. Thank you so much for being on the show this evening. Continue
Yeah,
success.
you're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Continue success. I'll definitely keep an eye on the social media feeds, and good luck to you moving forward. And thanks again.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You have a good night. Have a good weekend.
Thank you. You too.
All right, bye bye.
Bye-bye.